Andrew T. Blodgett of the 39th Iowa Infantry was originally from Des Moines. His regiment served with Union General Sherman on their march to Atlanta to capture that city. Major J.M. Griffiths, who is also buried here at Woodland, wrote the following account of Andrew Blodgett. On yesterday, the remnant of the 39th Iowa Infantry returned to camp. They had started on Tuesday, the 4th instant, to reinforce Allatoona, that place being threatened by the enemy. 8 companies with an aggregate of 384 men were in the expedition. Among them was Company B, commanded by your son, Andrew T. Blodgett. He was in good health and fine spirits, as was his custom when there was the prospect of meeting the enemy. He had never experienced the sensation of fear and was always inspired by the highest sentiments of chivalry and honor. We all knew where to look for Lieutenant Blodgett in line of action, as he had passed through so many severe engagements unscathed, while fighting in front, that we had come to regard him as possessing a charmed life. He was always cool and daring and met his foes with defiance. It was so on the eventful 5th instant at Allatoona. He had been posted on a road some distance from the fort in command of 2 companies and ordered to check the advance of the enemy. Here he fought them and drove them back time and again, by his presence and daring inspiring the men with his own courage, thus holding 5 times his own numbers in check. At last the order came to fall back to the fort, and with stubborn daring and heroism he fought the enemy over an exposed piece of ground, receiving an enfilading fire, contesting every inch. At length, reaching the fort with the remnant of his command, he, being one of the 4 officers yet alive, he posted his men at the works, and cheered them when they charged by columns of the enemy, proposing never to surrender, but rather to die and be buried with his comrades who were lying around. He passed up and down the lines, cheering his men and defying the massed columns of the enemy, who were then charging the fort. While thus engaged, he was struck by a musket ball that passed through his body above the loins. His wound was mortal, and his suffering severe, but he made no complaint, not even uttering a groan. His great anxiety was for the success of our arms and the honor of his country. He lived about 20 minutes after he was struck, was able to talk, and was perfectly rational. He made no request, he sent no messages, and seemed only anxious to have his country and her flag honored, dying as he lived, a brave and honored man and officer. Blodgett was only 22 years old when he died, and the preceding account was written by his major to his father to inform him of his death.